Many of you might have heard the passing of director John Singleton at 51, which is really way too soon for someone to be gone. It must all be in the lifestyle that many of these celebrities and directors live that cause them to check out at such a young age. So I remember back in the day going to the movies to see many of John Singleton movies, and he was quite a filmmaker, especially in the times when we didn't see very many Black filmmakers back in the day. But it was refreshing to see someone like John Singleton come on the scene and do such dramatic movies that movies that you never forgot once you saw them. They really did have a profound effect on the things that we were going through within the community, especially boys in the hood. That came out at a time when the crack epidemic was still going strong in the Black community. And I like John Singleton because a lot of his films were about where he came from. And, I remember him talking about that in an interview. And you could clearly tell, there was something exceptional about him. So it is sad to see that he passed at such a young age. I know the family are saying, it was peacefully, but it's never a peaceful thing to see someone fall so dramatically from a stroke. And I can definitely understand that. My mother had two strokes in her lifetime. And, luckily it didn't put her down long. She was still able to walk and get around and talk. She never lost that ability. So, it's really sad, but it just go to show you strokes really impact men very differently from women, and in John Singleton's case, it put him in a coma and he ended up on life support for a short time and then removed from it. But it's no doubt about John Singleton, what he has done in his lifetime was groundbreaking, and it was something that was much needed in the Black community to see one of our own put out such profound movies like Poetic Justice, Boys in the Hood, Too Fast and Too Furious. The list goes on and on. But like I said, I enjoyed going to see his movies. I looked forward to them when they came out and had a lot of fun. People don't realize how fun it is going to movies, with your friends and family and just enjoying the movie and then talking about the parts that you liked and what parts made you cry. And that's what John Singleton movies did. So he had a stroke 12 days ago. His family had to make the tough decision of putting him on life support. And I believe his mother was handling everything for him because John Singleton was not married. He was divorced. Many of you might remember in The Color Purple, the woman that played Nettie. Nettie was once his wife, you know? Um, it's just, it's sad. I really hate, talking about this kind of stuff. So he had actors such as Tupac Shakur, which did phenomenal in Poetic Justice. I actually liked his character in it a little more than I even liked Janet Jackson's character in that movie. And it just go to show you how many levels of talent Tupac actually had. He was so much more than just a rapper. Um, he really had good acting skills as well when you go back and look at the few movies that he was in. Regina King, Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard, Ice Cube, Tyrese, and Taraji P. Henson were some of the few actors and actresses that worked with John Singleton, you know? And the thing is, some of you might remember at the time when John Singleton put out Boys in the Hood, he was dating Tyra Banks back then. That was his girlfriend during those times. And, they were all from New York, so not really too surprising. So, Singleton received Oscar nominations in 1992 for Best Original Screenplay and Best Director for Boys in the Hood, which he wrote, directed, and produced in his early 20s. Now, that is just amazing. That's amazing for him to do all of that in his early 20s, and that movie ended up blowing up the way that it did. Just out of the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts. And look, he got in there on his own merit. And look at these people trying to cheat their way into the school. And this man did it on his own. He came out of school and right out the gate, he came out with Boys in the Hood and he did everything. Everything, wrote it, produced it, and directed the movie. Amazing. Singleton would say the honor was compensation for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences snub. Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing, 2 years earlier. At 24, Singleton became both the first Black director to receive an Oscar nomination and the youngest Best Director nominee in Oscar history. See, there was something very extraordinary about this man. No matter how much, I want you to always notice, no matter how much this society tries to downplay the intellectual intelligence of a Black man, it always shine through anyway. And you can see that in John Singleton. Wow. So, I remember Poetic Justice. And when I went to the movies to see that, I was amazed at how good it was back then. And, and Janet Jackson, who was definitely a recognizable name, and Tupac back then, they were both not only doing well in movies, but they had music that was blowing up back then, both Tupac and Janet. So it was definitely a remarkable time. Singleton was married twice and had 5 children. Besides his career in movies, Singleton also directed the video for Michael Jackson's Remember the Time. And I think we all remember that video when it came out, which included Eddie Murphy and Magic Johnson. And I remember Iman also was in there as well. He cast hip hop artists and other musicians in many of his films, including Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood, Janet Jackson and Shakur and Poetic Justice, and Tyrese and Baby Boy. That's right. That was Taraji Henson and Tyrese and Baby Boy. Well, what a loss. But my heart goes out to John Singleton's family and his children. And I just say, brother, rest in power. You gave us so much that we can look back on and always remember you. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.